is Mosport Park for round 4, the Mad Racing League. Turn 1, bit tricky. You can dive it with this high downforce, but more importantly, here's the Clayton curve, this downhill, very awkward and challenging turn, followed by another sweeper that's off camber this time. We're on board Doug, who got pole position in qualifying, so this would be a 106 something. And we're kind of heading into this, I guess you would traditionally call this a horseshoe, but it's got lots of elevation change. It's called Moss Corner. Now we're going down the Mario Andretti Straight, which will end up at the S's. This is just a 12 turn or 11 turn track, very simple, classic track that goes back many decades in Ontario. Here we have the S's, these fast sweepers. It's amazing how Doug doesn't seem to be pushing too hard, but that was the fastest lap of the session for qualifying, an hour of qualifying. There were some other challenges during this session. I mean, we're trying to share this track with 40 other GT3s. So here I am in qualifying, following Matt Carroll in front. He has one moment here, then he's going to throw it into turn 1, misses the apex by the mile, stays planted. Whoa, but he catches the outside curve and smokes the wall. There was a GT3 exiting pit. Here's that guy's perspective. Whoa, evasive maneuvers. Well done by this guy. I would also have a moment in qualifying. Here we're on board Michael Day with me in front. You see me clip that curb and fly into a barrier. Here's the onboard. High centered. Oh my God. Now this is a great, I'm going to do this in slow-mo. Watch the violence of this. So I have a direct drive, so what you see here steering with the wheel, my hands are attached to this in real life. It's going to spin right here. Boom, look at that giant kick. So that's over 400 degrees of rotation in 0.8 seconds. Here it is real time. Ow. So thankfully I let go halfway through that, so I didn't sprain my wrist, but you gotta be really careful on moments like that, especially when you lose it big. So here we go, start of the race. I qualified last, but if you've been watching this channel, you know I just want to finish a damn race without a lap 1 incident. But here we go, the exit of turn 1, we already have Chris into the wall, switching to his onboard. What we're gonna see here is cold tires and a giant vortex of those two cars going side by side. There's just no front end grip for him with all that slipstream. Here we see everyone dive down right through Clayton Corner into Quebec Corner. Still sitting in, I guess, 10th here. And this is the approach, kind of turn 4, heading down towards Moss. We see Day making a move on Justin, or the other way around. And then here's an interesting angle for Moss Corner. We can see, oh, Cody Richardson going out wide. And then I'm tucked in behind another Mad car. So here's my onboard. Again, this is lap 1. I got a lap counter down in the bottom there. You can see me get to the top. I'm the top of 6th. That slipstream, but here's that cold tire understeer. Plus, following so closely, once you get out of rhythm of that slipstream, it's like it's a real struggle. But I made it. Lap 2, no incidents. Amazing. Whoa, I even go out a bit wide there. Diving back down through Clayton. Top of the screen, we see Cody go out wide. Here it is from his onboard. Looks like he just gets a little crossed up, gets off the throttle. You can't complete that turn off throttle. You need to be on the gas, keep that rear end planted and power through it. Coming back down to Moss Corner. Just in front of me, we see 2 cars going side by side. That's Matt Carroll on Andrew. Again, at the top of the screen, you see Andrew eat a little bit of that inside curve and a huge wreck off to the screen to the right. Here it is, camera looking backwards. You'll see the front left of his car. He gets in that little bit of a gutter. Oh man, that's a write-off. Just towards the end of lap 2, we're going to have the leader of the LMP2 catch this group, the GT3 AM class. You can see them in the mirror, top right. Look at the gang of LMP2s. This guy was going to go for a pass, has to bail out, try and tuck back in, but he's off his line. Head's a little scrambled. Places that rear tire in a bad spot and spins around. And I go flying by here. So we're going to go on board here as I kind of go through this class. This would be the slowest drivers on grid, the back of the pack of the GT3 AMs. 47 cars registered for this, with 36 of them being GT3. It's about a 50-50 split, or maybe there's a bit more AMs. Oh, look at this. How quickly that chain of cars all of a sudden approaches going into that final turn at that side of the circuit. Here I am, I just tuck in. I'm not really thinking pass, but I wanted to carry the speed, and I get up here thinking, oh, maybe I'll go on the outside of that GT3, but thought better of it. And I just tuck back in, and then you see this GT3 saying, oh, okay, you're not pushing like these guys? All right, I'll take this line, and then I'm able to come back across. So there's a lot of patience required. So this was just ahead of me in that same sequence. We're on board Andrew Lewis. I believe he would be in 5th place right now. Oh, very subtle mistake. That GT3 made a slight move towards the outside. He hesitated and again got off throttle. You can't do that going in through that turn. You've got to send it. So back on board with me, same lap. Very awkward pass here with that GT3. And you can still hear him. That was a very, very tight pass that I made, a dangerous one, because we saw that gutter take out a different driver earlier. You see from my wing camera, look how close this was. Oh my goodness. Yeah, very, very tight passes around here. On board Matt Carroll, working his way through GT3 traffic. Heading down towards where I made a pass. Look at this, eats too much of that inside curve, upsets the car, and gets sent out wide. Very similar to what I went through, what Andrew went through before. It's a tricky maneuver to make. Switching to my hood camera now. I think this is a good example of being patient, and I didn't want to pressure this GT3 car too much. We've got so much top end speed, so much grip through these turns, but I was so determined to finish this race. I'm like, I will pass these guys clean down the straights as much as I can. I am determined to not be disqualified for contact points. The limit was increased by basically an extra accident, but there's just so many cars on this track, lots of sweeping angles. Here we are on board again, or my kind of wing camera that I like to use. You see these GT3s in a close battle. The Porsche has been modified this season. It's a faster car. Looks like that guy got helped around for a bit of a spin. Back down towards this just roller coaster of a hairpin. I don't even know what to call that turn. Very unusual, unlike anything else in motor racing. But the back straight, the perfect time to catch these cars down the Andretti straight. They all line up. I easily pass all 3 of them, no problem. The same thing cannot be said for Elliott. Here we are, lap 12. a line of GT3s in front of him going down the Andretti straight. Does what I did, pull out to the right, but we're going to see a pass attempt in the cars in front. He decides to split them, but there's contact. Oh, big wreck. Flying through the air. Oh, and we see a black car make a very nice dodge. I wonder who that was. Oh, that's right, boys. It's me. When I see cars tumbling, I don't brake much for that because they're spinning at such a high rate and uncontrollable or unpredictable. You want to go by its speed. It's a little risky. I wouldn't do that in real life, but in the sim race, no problem. Here we are on board Day making a mistake. He was running in third. Just a little bit of understeer. It got sent out wide. Here's what I find really strange, though. Maybe you saw his wheel movement. Watch the steering wheel. He must be running a ridiculously high steer. Like, what is that about? He must be not steering the wheel very much, and it's accelerated in the sim, so it's not one-to-one in real life like how I race. Very strange. Cutting now to a bit of a TV sequence. I believe that's Matt Carroll behind me, trying to catch up. See how traffic can make this really difficult for a pass, and even that one GT3 got so confused by looking in his mirrors, he missed his line. Anyway, by lap 24, it's time for a pit stop. I really like the pit entry there. You can see how quick and concise the pit entry is. I'm going to speed this up because I have, I want to show you the pit exit. I just like the pit lane here. I think it's a good looking pit lane. I had no damage. It was just for fuel, no tire change, and back out on the circuit I go. Now back on board with Matt Carroll, who was trying to pass me before my pit stop. You see him heading down here. A bit of a moment. Oh, on the gas while on the curbs, hits the rear axle. There I go flying by. It looked like, because I don't have another replay, it looked like it was either netcode or a aggressive adjustment by him. But here I am on lap 34. We're about 5 laps to the end of the race, and I just have some classic understeer sending me out wide with a pretty good stave. That's Chris Carroll passes me there, but he's already many laps down for an accident he had earlier. So we'll go on the TV camera here to show you how close that was. A lot of, like, part of it's admitting defeat. When you go out there, you lose traction on one wheel. You just got to let off the throttle and have the car carry natural momentum to find itself straight. Going to the last lap now. On board Justin, we see Carroll trying to catch him, but a very damaged GT3 blocks his entry in that turn. That thing doesn't have a hood. It doesn't have headlights. Pretty frustrating for Miles. I would be in 5th on the lead lap behind these guys by a good minute. And they had a very close battle, but Justin's able to hit his markers. Even though Miles is gaining here, none of this is close enough for a pass attempt. So they would cross the line 2nd and 3rd. Cody went off the track earlier. You saw that in the race, but he made up really good race pace and passing traffic. So he would end up passing me via the pit stop. But more importantly, I'm in 5th place. I've actually brought the car home. Very stoked to see a legit on the lead lap checkered flag here. See you guys next week.